Welcome to Marketing Decoded, the podcast where we unravel the mysteries of marketing for busy business owners. Here are your hosts, Daniel Kodum and Jackie Strack. Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Marketing Decoded with our hosts,
Daniel Kodum
and myself, Jackie Strack. Today, we are going to tackle the topic, is SEO dead? You may have been keeping up to date with what's happening in the world with SEO and GEO and AI and large language models. And today we're going to talk about all of that and decide if SEO is dead, and if it is, what comes next.
Let's, for purpose of our audience, what is GEO? Most people have not heard of it and think you're talking some voodoo or something.
GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization. So if anyone has used Gemini or ChatGPT or something like that, those are large language models. And when a person searches within one of those to find a business or a place to eat or anything like that, the results that they find are subject to generative engine optimization.
So how does GEO and SEO differ?
Well, SEO is search engine optimization, and that's based on people keying in certain terms into Google or other search engines to find results, web pages that are ranking for those keywords or key phrases that might be typed in. Basically, SEO relies a lot on keywords. And GEO is different because instead of relying on keywords, it relies on something called entities. GEO looks at the holistic picture of the internet and tries to recommend brands and businesses and things like that that have an authoritative presence on the internet and that are recognized by multiple entities as being authoritative.
So if I'm a business owner, what do I do differently knowing that GEO is out there now?
Well, for starters, having good GEO, the foundation of good GEO is still good SEO, because you still need to have content that is high quality, that is helpful to consumers. You still have to have a website that's easy to use, that's easy to navigate, that gives a visitor what they're looking for. And those are some of the foundational elements of SEO. But now for GEO, there's other elements that need to be focused on, such as directory listings, for instance. Having a presence, if you are a roofer or if you're a remodeling contractor, making sure that you have claimed your presence in all of the directory listing websites like Houzz and Thumbtack and all the other things like that, so that your presence is not just deep, but also wide across the internet.
So before we go too much deeper in GEO, let me tackle the main heart of this question. Is SEO dead? The question comes down is, how does a consumer or a potential buyer of whatever goods or services you have going to find you? And I can guarantee you with 100% certainty, they're not going to all find you through chatbots. In fact, a large majority of them still at this time, at this age, are still not going to find you on chatbots.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to expand this a little further. Marketing is iterative, not transformative. And what I mean by that, it's not going to be that tomorrow suddenly everyone switches to using a chatbot to find something. Similar to how it took about 15 to 20 years for people to really stop using yellow pages and using the online space for finding things.
Mm-hmm.
It is only in the last several years where I don't hear people say, I looked it up on the yellow pages anymore. Now, does that mean it's dead? No, there's still some people who say, I don't go to Google. I don't trust them. Nothing against them. They will talk to their friends or their friends to find answers to people they want to use. What that means to business owners is the same rules apply as I've always preached, which is you need to find a way to get as broad knowledge about your business, the entity, as you can out there. And as with most businesses, you have a limited time, limited budget. So you prioritize where your clients are mostly going to come from, and you target that and you slowly expand. So with GEO, if you're in a business that is likely going to see people using chatbots to find you, which there isn't that many right now, in a year or two, maybe, but you need to sit there and then pivot in terms of just expanding your entity presence. But Jackie said it best. The foundation of GEO is good SEO, a lot good content, good listing, good digital PR are all essential for strong GEO. But you may need to, if you've reached a stage, you may need to create a Wikipedia page. You may need to join contributing online reputable magazines like Forbes and be able to connect yourself to them to be able to increase your online authority. But that doesn't mean that if you're a small business just starting out, you ignore the SEO space, because that may be where you can start, but doesn't mean where you can end. The best analogy I often give is if you watch a game show Family Feud, they will say, ask 100 people, top 5 answers are on the board. I've never in the 40 years I've watched Family Feud seen a single one have 100% the same answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think the highest I ever saw was 76 for one answer. Doesn't mean the rest are dead. It's just telling you you have ability to capture business in multiple ways. And GEO is at its beginnings. It's going to be at the bottom of that list or maybe even off the list, depending on what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to sit there and plan for it. Now, I'm going to throw it back to you, Jackie, in a second, but I do want to give a quick industry update. AI is helping with getting certain aspects of marketing done faster or more broadly. It is not a tool to replace strong content, because chat content can be duplicative and isn't going to be as strong as contextualized. You can use ChatGPT or Gemini or one of them to write you content, but please go back and edit it to make it your own. Otherwise, you're going to be part of the crowd, and it's not going to help you with GEO later, and it may eventually get attacked, even in the SEO space. But AI is here. It was transformative 2 years ago. It's kind of stabilized right now, kind of how the internet did in the early 2000s. We're going to see the next iterations come out. I personally think we're still a couple years out before we see the next iteration. I don't even think that one's the strongest one. To me, Google really hit its mark about the mid to late 2010s, when it started really fine tuning and be able to see keyword stuffing as a problem, really looking at content as a whole. These chatbots, these AI things will get there. It's just a few years out. So
Mm-hmm.
until that happens, Geo isn't going to take over, and it may not even take over fully. It may become it's one aspect of many, because consumers, buyers often want to get more than one answer. So with that said, what say you, Jackie Strack, about GEO?
I agree, Daniel. And I think it's good to remember the point that you brought up, which is that consumer behavior takes a long time to change. People are used to doing what they're used to doing, and as a whole, it's not going to be a situation where tomorrow everything's different. So, the way I like to think of it is SEO. Well, you know what? Let me ask you, Daniel. In answer to the question that we're posing, is SEO dead? What would you say definitively?
It's nowhere near dead. It's alive, kicking, screaming. It's still a long way to go, and it may never be dead. To me, it's it's going to be something where it's going to evolve. I mean, if you're in the online space looking up anything, you see that usually the number one thing Google provides you is answers to question in the AI overview section. Well, if you
Mhm.
look at the paper clips, those AI overviews are based on articles that other people write a lot of times. You want to try to get up there through your SEO, GEO work.
Mm.
And people are still buying, still looking, and still scrolling Google. And the interesting part is it used to be that people would say, I want to get on the first page of Google. Well, a lot of these search results now aren't paginated, they're just a long scroll.
Yeah.
So a page used to be 10 listings. Now a scroll could be tens of listings.
Yeah.
And so you want to try to get as high up as possible and keep doing that. And if you do it right, your GEO will come along for the ride, and you are setting yourself up to have strong GEO as you come along, because they learned a lot through SEO and what Google did, and and consumers like it, and they're going to continue to feed off of that.
Yeah, the other thing that is interesting about that AI overview that you brought up is a lot of times it's not completely accurate. It has like an amalgamation of different sort of pieces that it's putting together. So I think what people do a lot of the time is they scroll down and look at the first few entries on Google to kind of verify what they're seeing on the AI overview. So with that being said, I mean, being ranked high through SEO is in some ways even more important now.
Yep, absolutely. It's really important to keep that all in mind. So,
I agree. I think SEO is not dead. If anything, it's evolved, it's had a bit of a glow up, but it's just in the new era.
so I'm going to give three pieces of advice for people, which applies to SEO and GEO. And you can hire someone or you can do it yourself, but I think it's essential. Number one, have a strong website. Regardless of what you do, make sure your website's strong. And don't rely on yourself. It sounds weird, but you are too deep in your own business that you will not recognize what is good or bad, as well as someone who doesn't see and breathe your business on a daily basis. You want someone, because here's the thing, a potential buyer likely has never been to your website. So their initial reaction in that first 5 seconds is what you want to know. You go to your website more than anyone else. So you will get used to it. You will miss things that you think are good, or you'll criticize things that you don't realize it's actually good for a new person, but you're like, oh, that people know that, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Secondarily, strong content. Again, not just Chat GPT or Gemini based, but strong relative content. Think about the common questions that you are asked about your business or your services, and go through and answer those, and regularly answer those. And on your website, keep it there, link it to other parts of your site. That will help SEO, that will help GEO. The last thing, and this is the part that I think most businesses failed 95% of the time. And I will say, even my own company struggles with this. Brag about yourself. Don't just keep your wins to yourself and say, et cetera, et cetera. You sell a house, brag about it. You finish a project, brag about it. You are hosting an event, brag about it, which means post it not just on your website, but on other platforms that make sense. We have a law firm who's hosting a chamber mixer. We got them to put a piece in the local online paper. Why? Because it's important for people to know. And if you connect that back to your website, it helps your overall entity status and thereby helps your GEO status. And anything helping with GEO will help with SEO. Anything helping with SEO will help GEO. So the two go hand in hand. So you're not sitting there and changing your whole approach, but what you're doing is just enhancing it and focusing on building your brand awareness.
Agree. I think you said it well, Daniel.
Well, on that note, why don't we call this a wrap and ask everyone to join us for the next episode of Marketing Decoded.
Thank you for listening. Please be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast player. To sign up for your own free assessment, visit www.decodetech.com/free-fitness-assessment.